we're here to protest on Thursday. It's raining. A lot of young people here. Can you tell us why you've come and where you've come from?
I'm a student at Prendergast School in southeast London, in Brockley, Lewisham, and we've come to show support for our friend who's speaking at the protest today, and for Palestinians, and to show that our disagreement with the British government and Starmer and Sunak's stance on the genocide that is currently happening in Palestine.
I shouldn't be up here. I should be in college on the other side of London, but I'm here because I care. I'm here because Israel kills a child in Gaza every 10 minutes. Yet our complicit government has done absolutely nothing. I'm also here to tell the world we must do more, and we must unite to stop this genocide. Because freedom, justice or peace, let alone a ceasefire, will never come about whilst we sit not doing enough. How can we not do anything, knowing that Gaza's Ministry of Education announced an end to the entire academic year because every single student was killed? How can we not do anything when 339 schools and universities have been bombed by Israel in just 2 months? Every single child in Gaza suffers from PTSD. But for Palestinians, there's no P in PTSD. The trauma is eternal. You've got to understand that the children of Palestine think, feel, smile and cry just like us. We've got to understand that they are not numbers, rather humans with hopes and dreams just like us. We've got to understand their education system, economy and infrastructure has been completely destroyed, and that we cannot go to school or carry on our normal lives. We cannot carry on our normal lives while they lay crushed under the rubble. We've got to understand that 1 million children commit the crime of being Palestinian, and as a result are punished and remain trapped in a concentration camp. They must be saved. We've got to understand that they are us. Or do we fail to do so because they are not our children? We claim to stand with Palestine, yet we are not doing enough. We must strike. We must mobilize direct action. We must continue protesting, boycotting, educating, donating, praying, and using our voices for the silenced. We must no longer be afraid. We must no longer be afraid of speaking up in public. And we must hold the silent and the complicit accountable. We must be louder.
As we stand here today, the bombs rain down on Gaza. Bombs that were made in this country. Weapons technology that was made in this country by a company called Leonardo. Leonardo works closely with schools, colleges and universities across the UK, including my own. On the 17th of November, the students of Luton Sixth Form College walked out in protest over the college's ties with Leonardo and endorsement of a genocidal arms manufacturer. The movement was organised by students of the college who came together to raise their voices and demand for our college to cut ties with Leonardo. The students have since resulted in a successful social media campaign against the college and a public statement declaring a suspension of all ties with Leonardo until further notice. The students of Luton Sixth Form College know that this is not a complete win, that we must continue to stand and that we must continue to shout so that maximum pressure is put on the leadership of the college and to Leonardo. We urge every single one of you to stand with us and demand your institutions to embark on a complete boycott of Leonardo and to cut ties with them indefinitely. We urge you to stand with the Palestinian people and to stand with them now.
After this protest, it doesn't end here. You don't just leave and go home and go about your day like nothing. Remember, each and every one of you have a voice and a platform. And I don't care if that's just 20 followers, that's 20 people also with a voice and a platform. It is our moral duty to speak up and stand with the oppressed. Using your platforms and attending these demonstrations, that creates a powerful wave of activism. That's how
streets in 2010 when we were demanding free education and people from all over London marched and organised. The police penned us in and kettled us. Well, today I teach university students in America, and I say with confidence, there is more wisdom and common sense, there is more decency and good values in every child and student who has walked out of school and university today than in the whole building opposite us in Downing Street. When in that building, when in Downing Street, they send money and weapons to a state which has penned in over 2 million people in Gaza in an open-air prison. We say we want the prisoners to be free. When in Downing Street, they send money and weapons to a state which besieges the people of Gaza, to a state which shoots down the people of Gaza when they march peacefully in the Great March of Return to their homes, to a state which deprives people of food and fuel and electricity, when the World Health Organization sounds the alarm because hospitals and ambulances are bombed. We say we don't care what side you're on, Rishi Sunak, and we don't care what side you're on, Keir Starmer. We're going to come out onto the streets for human freedom.
It is hard, it is frustrating, but every demonstration that we mount means other people begin to understand what's going on. Every demonstration we mount gives some hope to people living in the most desperate situation in Gaza, on the West Bank, or in the refugee camps. And I've been talking to many people living in the most desperate situation, and all they say is, do everything you can to make some noise for the survival of the Palestinian people, and also thank people from all communities, Muslim, Jewish, Buddhist, Hindu, Christian, non-believers, for standing in solidarity for human rights and human justice for the people of Palestine. We will oppose any British military involvement in Palestine. We will oppose this continuing laissez-faire attitude towards Israeli war products being either bought or sold in this country. We will continue, as long as it takes, to support the Palestinian people that they may get their day of justice. I don't want to see a world where cynical agreements are made by neighbouring countries that simply forget and ignore the Palestinian people. They've suffered too long, they've suffered too much. Stand with the people of Palestine. Thank you.
You, as young people within the school system, within the education system, are targeted by normalization programs. Programs like Solutions Not Sides. Programs like Forum for Discussion of Israel and Palestine. Other organisations too are funded by the British Foreign Office, are funded by the British government, and are also funded by the same people that fund settlements, by the same people that fund the Friends of the IDF, by the same people that fund Keir Starmer. You will have these organisations come into the school and ask you to meet with former Israeli soldiers. This will happen. It happened in 2021 when students were expelled for standing with Palestine, when students were suspended for standing with Palestine, and it will happen now again. People will be expelled, people will be reported to prevent, and these normalization programs will come into the schools. Read up on these programs, research these programs, look at who the employees of these programs are, gather your forces, collect signatures from parents, students, teachers even, and refuse these programs. Because what they are aimed at doing is turning out this fire. They are about cancelling your aversion to seeing mass human suffering. We must defeat the normalization push in the schools if the next generations have any hope of being able to effectively organise to challenge what Israel does in this country.
Did you hear what Lowkey said about how people are being told to not say anything and not learn about what's
so
really
at my
happening?
secondary school, my two younger brothers are now at secondary school. If they draw a Palestine flag on their hand, that's an hour detention. If they have any sort of representation for Palestine or Palestinian people, they are either put in isolation, given an hour detention, excluded, they're not allowed to speak up. And they say that we can't choose sides of this, of the argument, or whatever they want to call it. But you have to choose sides at the end of the day. It's either the people that are being oppressed and you stand up and fight for them, or you are with the oppressors.
Can you tell us what your experience is in education of wanting to protest in support of Palestine?
My name's Ibrahim. I'm 15. I'm a year 11 student, so I have my GCSEs this year. I'm in secondary school. Personally, I haven't had much trouble with my personal experience, but I'm aware of a lot of things about secondary schools cutting down people's freedom of speech. Even though schools, claim to have this idea of freedom of speech, it depends on the context. For example, when the Ukraine incident happened, there were many schools that happily flew flags outside their schools and whatnot. But now we see with the incident in Palestine after October the 7th, and even before as well, meaning in 2021 and 2022, when Al-Aqsa Mosque in the month of Ramadan was assaulted by the Israeli offensive forces. There was one incident, famous incident, where a kid wore a Palestinian face mask, and automatically the head teacher gave a statement out saying that this is a call to arms. It's a call to arms. It's an open support of groups like Qassam or Hamas. Even though it's a Palestinian flag which was introduced by the British mandate, it's a British flag. It's not made by the Palestinian people. So there is a limit in a lot of schools on the students' freedom of speech in order to portray their views about the conflict, which is seems to have a racial bias. Racial biases in the sense that Ukraine is one story and with Palestine is a different story.